Hello, Toy Family! Welcome to another edition of the Marsham Toy Hour, where we discuss anything and everything designer toys. I'm Gary Ham.
And I'm Teresa Hawkins.
And no George or Carlos tonight. I've heard from a few people kind of wondering where George has been, and fear not, he's still around. He's still going to be joining. He's just been busy. As many people know, he's a host of another weekly video podcast called Behind the Counter on the Toy Geeks Network, and sometimes they have the same record night as we do. Same with Carlos. He's also, very busy, got other things going on. So, both George and Carlos, they'll be rotating in as they're available. Sometimes when they learn that there's 3 or 4 people on air, they're just like, nah, I'll just sit out. So, but fear not, they're still around. They will be joining probably next week or in the coming weeks. So, but if you need your weekly dose of George, definitely be sure to check out Behind the Counter. But again, we have the lovely Teresa joining us, and we also have another guest joining us today. He's been on, I think, 3 or 4 episodes in the past. My hero from Japan, Don DATADUB Kratzer.
Hello.
Welcome back, Don.
Oops.
Oh my gosh, you're so noisy. Starting off with a bang.
Yeah, literally.
You gotta have one noisy guy, so.
Well, someone's got to fill Carlos's shoes.
Yeah.
So, Don, it was good finally meeting you out there at 5 Points Fest in New York City.
Yeah, it was like just like we were old friends when I closed my eyes.
I know.
It's the guy on the radio.
Yeah, it's like we've known each other for years, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
And you're a lot taller than I expected. What are you, 6 foot?
I'm
6'3"? 6'4"?
3'4".
You're back in Japan, right?
Yep.
How's the jet lag treating you?
I'm learning to appreciate various different flavors of jet lag. They all have their own little subtle nuances.
What stage are you in now?
Like slowly creeping back to normal. Basically, it's like an hour. Can sleep in like an hour later each day with America and battling jet lag. So
yeah.
It's good. Gets me up early.
Well, Don, we wanted to get you on last week when we were covering how 5 Points Fest and our experiences for everyone. We had Teresa on as the collector. I was like the vendor viewpoint. Carlos was the no-show. And then we wanted to have you on because there was a lot of international exhibitors there as well as a lot of Sufubi presents. But you couldn't join last week because you had a travel day. But we got you on this week, so we kind of want to pick your brain about how the experience was for you and all the consulting and liaisoning that you did.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to touch on that, but I think before we get to that, how about we start off the show with our usual segment called Leaks and Sneak Peeks. And actually, guys, we have a new sponsor this week. So sponsoring Leaks and Sneak Peeks is the wonderful guys at the Toy Chronicle. So for all your daily designer toy news, check out thetoychronicle.com.
Yay!
They won Best Blog again, didn't they?
Again, so it's like them and Spanky Stokes. They just switch off every other year, it seems like.
Right. Well, there's a dark horse I heard that was nominated this year.
Who's that?
Some podcast thing. It's kind of coming in it from an angle.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Well,
maybe next year.
Probably the year after, actually. I think next year's a bit bold.
I don't know if we'll be around in 3 years or in the next 2 years. This is a lot of work.
Don't say that. I'm just getting started. You boot me like after an episode.
We're gonna have to come up with things to do when we're in the bunkers. So.
Well, see, that's what's great about having Teresa. She's very passionate about toys. There's no doubt about it. Like, she loves toys, and so am I. And she's like being really helpful about helping plan and coming with ideas. And because she covers the collector standpoint, like I always take it for granted. Like George and Carlos being on, they know a lot about production and manufacturing. I always take for granted, like maybe the collectors don't always know that sort of stuff. So it's good having Teresa join us because she asks a lot of questions that maybe we take for granted. So she'll know like maybe what a lot of our listeners won't be interested in, stuff like that. So she's going to be a good addition.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome. I'm tired of talking you up though.
Oh, okay. Just flip the switch right there. You're great, but you suck.
No, I'm kidding. No, you're great. So, Don, so did you bring a leak and sneak peek for us this week?
I did bring a leak and sneak peek. So actually, one of the companies I'm now working with called 1000 Toys. I also still work for Powercore, and we actually shared a booth at the 5 Points. 1000 Toys has a new project called the New Synth Project. And it's a collaboration series with artists. So it's sort of a art toy action figure line. We announced the line at 5 Points, and we showed off 2 of the figures that will be in the first series. The first one was the Knights of the Slice from the Toy Pizza guys. So the sort of pizza Power Ranger character they have.
Yeah, familiar.
We showed 4 colorways. We actually had a pizza party at the booth to announce it.
I missed out on a pizza party?
You missed. We had a stack of 5 pizzas. We were giving away free pizza.
I had that written down in my schedule, and I completely blanked on it. I wondered what that was, because I saw it in the announcement, like, in your all's Instagram. Like, come stop by the booth to hang out for an announcement. So I didn't know that's what it was for.
I was in New York for like 4 days, and I didn't have one slice of pizza in New York, and I'm sort of bummed about that.
That's bad. So, yeah, we were kind of like debating, how much should we announce free pizza at a
at a convention, right?
Exactly. So, and then the second figure, the one that I'm really excited about, is the collaboration with 1,000 Toys and Realhead, and we showed the sculpt for that. Was also on display. And then the third figure that we only announced the name of is going to be a collaboration with Matt Dowdy of O'Neill Design. So we announced the project, and then the first series 1 are those 3 artists: Toy Pizza, Realhead, and O'Neill Design. So I'm super excited about this project.
What's the time frame on those, do you think?
The first production versions we're shooting for DesignerCon.
Oh, okay. And you're going to be at DesignerCon, I suppose?
Are going to be at DesignerCon.
Nice.
And also, last year we brought the Mechatro WeGo custom show, which we also had with us at the 5 Points.
Yep.
And we can talk about that later, but we're going to do a different custom show at DesignerCon, making news here. We're going to have a synthetic human custom show.
Oh,
cool. Yeah, but watch for more details. I don't want to steal all the thunder, but this is announcing, that we're going to have a synthetic human custom show. The custom show will be on the 12-inch, the 1/6 scale version of the figure, but then we will be selling the production runs of the new synth collaboration figures as well.
Interesting. I'm pretty intrigued about this this human thing.
It's very exciting. Have you played with one?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
they're really articulated, Gary. They're like, think iRobot, the movie.
Okay.
Seen that movie, the Will Smith movie?
I have. Yep.
So you know how there's the like kind of stark white, grayish robots in that movie? It's like that, but like super, super articulated, so you can really like pose and form. And then behind the little face mask is this like creepy Mars Attack type face.
Ah, cool.
So, but yeah, that'll be an interesting one to see customized because there's so many bits and pieces. So I'll be curious to see what people do with it.
Yep.
And I totally just went to, so I hadn't seen this pizza guy, so I had to go look it up. And oh my gosh, have you seen it, Gary? It's kind of awesome.
I have, yeah.
I love the pizza cutter in its hand as the weapon.
When I first saw it, I thought it was a ping pong paddle. But
love those characters. Pretty good.
So, Don, what all do you do for 1,000 Toys then?
Well, I just started consulting with them. I mean, a big part of it up till now has been helping with the convention presences. So we did ToyCon UK last month, and then 5 Points, and then we're gonna be in San Diego. So that's part of it. Also, then with the custom shows, like doing the artist liaisoning for the Mechatro WeGo custom show, and then now for the new synth project, also helping with liaisoning for that. And just a lot of hooking people up.
So Don, I'm confused.
Except Teresa.
What is the connection between Powercore and 1,000 Toys? Are they connected in some way?
They're connected because I work for both of them.
Okay.
And then it brings companies together.
and then I have connected them. So yes.
Okay, cool. Well, then I totally should have met you because I've gone to Powercore stuff. I've gone to 1,000 Toys stuff at like both DesignerCon and 5 Points. I'm sure you saw me. We just didn't know we were seeing each other. Because I love Powercore. Did
you do the scavenger hunt at DesignerCon?
I did, and I was kind of sad that 5 Points didn't really have like much of a Powercore thing going on because that was kind of. I got to a point where I was literally like running around, like looking for booths, going up and being like, "I'm looking for your thing again," and I'm like, "I'll be back later." Moving on. I like that stuff. And so at 5 Points, I mean, I know you had the lucky draw, which was cool, but I was kind of hoping I was going to be able to like scan and get new characters or something for the Puzzle Core game, or at least stickers or something.
Well, we did one at ToyCon, so it's kind of hard to kind of put together two right back to back. So we're going to do another one but we're going to do one in San Diego Comic-Con, and then hopefully do the next level kind of thing at DesignerCon this year. So
what's next level?
Yeah. Do
yeah,
tell.
well,
Come on, we want some exclusive information.
as soon as I know, you guys.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I look forward to it. It's like a fun, I don't know if you've done the Powercore stuff, Gary, but it's like a fun little side thing to do. You go around and they got like 2 different apps. One's like a sticker messenger kind of app.
Yep.
And then they have the puzzle course, a bunch of characters, and oh, that's fun.
Teresa, you're hired.
I'm hired, yes.
Man. So I don't think she's going to, like, the show might last longer than Teresa. She's going to be, like, picked up by some other company as their PR person and toy coordinator, all that good stuff. Got to enjoy her while we have her.
Well, there's only so much Teresa to go around, but hey, I love apps. I play this game called Clawbert, and it's like a claw machine, but it's this cute little pink-shaped blob claw, and you collect different eggs, and then you wait and just hatch digital things, and like that's literally all you do. Like you just collect an egg, wait for it to hatch, see what it is. But I'm addicted. It's so much fun. I just love silly little apps, and Powercore's great.
And speaking of hatching eggs, last week you were talking about how you can never find Hatchimals, right?
Correct.
And so I took up the challenge of I love a good hunt. So I searched it took me about, 4 days maybe, going to a couple Targets, a couple Walmarts, but I found one. I found Hatchimals.
Gary had success.
I did. I like a good success.
Did you buy them, or did you just like, there they are?
No, I bought a pack, and it was the very last pack. And here's the thing, Don. I went to that Target 3 days in a row, and then I go back the next day, and then there's only one left. Like, that's how fast these things move. So I bought the 4-pack. I brought it home to my kid, thinking, like, this is something new and cool he's never seen before. I hand it to my 4-year-old son, and apparently he's seen these things on these. He watches tons and tons of toy YouTube videos and all that good stuff. So he was already familiar with it. He knew what a Hatchimal was. He knew exactly how to, like, you rub the heart until it turns pink, and then it cracks open. So he knew all that good stuff. But he was excited, and now we kind of use it as an incentive. If he sleeps through the night for like an entire week, he will earn himself another Hatchimal. So
I can't believe you're blackmailing your son.
no, it's not black. Well, you don't have kids yet, Teresa. But here's the thing: 4-year-olds. I don't know about all 4-year-olds, but my 4-year-old, I'll put him to bed, and then at 1 a.m. in the morning, I wake up and he's like right next to me. And we talk about how our dogs like take over the beds, and you're in weird positions. We'll add a 4-year-old who likes to do a 180 in the bed and kick you in the head. So I would much prefer him to be in his own bed. And so if a Hatchimal is incentive enough for him to stay downstairs, he's going to get a Hatchimal.
Sounds like he has jet lag.
You would know something about that. Do you have anything else to bring, Don?
No, that's good for me.
All right.
That was my big one.
All right, ladies next. How about you, Teresa?
Sure. You know, I'm always seeing different stuff, but there are a few cool things I saw that either started or released recently. One was Ben Cito's Skull Bunnies. He creates the different Skull Bunny resin sculpts, but he's been working on kind of a couple different print-related things for his characters, and he actually just recently launched a really cute little coloring book of just like, he posts a lot of different sketches that he's working on, and I think he finally compiled them into a coloring book and released it. And it's actually live on Amazon now, and it's super affordable, like $8-9 to buy. And it looked really cute. You know, I'm like a child, but I think coloring books are super fun. And I think it's fun when they mix kind of the coloring and toy world. And so that looks super cute. And then he also released a comic book for the characters as well. And that went up on his website. I think right now he's doing a special release where if you go buy the comic, you can also get a print that's the same print that's on the cover of the comic when you purchase it for free. So,
okay.
Yeah, so his Skull Bunnies are super, super cute. You know, I like cute stuff, and I'm actually sad. Huh?
No, I don't know you like cute stuff. This is news to me.
You're going to hear me say the word cute probably way too much, but
The new drinking game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you'll be wasted by the end of the episode.
But I've always liked his little characters, and so I think it's fun to see a little spin-off of some kind of print-based stuff for it. And so I'm always keeping my eye on what he's releasing. So those were super fun. The other thing I saw that came out recently is there's a new Kickstarter out for Kyle Kierwan's Willow.
I was going to do that one.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me. Well, we'll share it.
Okay.
But, so yeah, tell us more about it, Gary.
Well, Teresa, Urban Vinyl Daily, they've been looking into getting more into little toy production and helping, some of their favorite artists and friends get some stuff made. So they did Kickstarter once before, and they got the Bots Luna figure produced, and anyone who's seen that knows it was fantastic. So Urban Vinyl Daily, or UVD Toys, they're taking another crack at helping one of their favorite artists get something produced, and this time they've teamed up with Kyle Kerwin to have his Willow character turned into a plush. So it's going to be about 9.5 inches tall. It's going to come in a really nice pink colorway. It's going to go for $30 in Kickstarter, and there's also a wide variety of reward levels, including pins and magnets and exclusive versions of other popular Kerwin resin creations. And so if you're interested in this, be sure to check out Kickstarter, search UVD Toys or Kyle Kerwin or Willow Plush on Kickstarter. And let's help support UVD Toys and Kyle Kerwin and help make this Willow Plush happen.
You covered that much better than I probably would have. You had all the deets. I just saw the cute plush.
It's pretty cute. Drink up.
So, Don, I'm kind of curious. So one of the other things I saw recently, I'm really into the vinyl artist Gotcha series. Is that something you follow at all?
Oh, yes. I follow it very closely because all my friends are in it.
Oh, okay. Well, did you see the Series 11 teasers come out?
Yes.
I thought those looked super, super. Yeah, Teresa Chiba. I was super excited that she's finally getting represented through the series. So that's the one I'm most excited about.
Really cute. Actually, I was playing with that a couple weeks ago. I think there was a picture of it on my Instagram. It's very cute.
You got to see it?
Yeah, I had so we had vinyls from Teresa Chiba at 5 Points.
Oh, the larger one, like the full scale. I gotcha.
Right. So when I met her to pick those up, she had it with her. So we were.
Are they cute?
They're very cute.
See, I said it again.
Drink, everybody.
So her stuff, she's one of the people. So I went up to, it was Teresa Chiba and then Hikari Barbie. Am I saying that right?
Bambi.
Bambi. Sorry. Hikari Bambi.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had like a shared booth at DesignerCon, and they were cash only. And so I remember trying to figure out how I was going to buy their stuff. And at the time I decided just to get the little fish guy. And I'm sorry, what is the name of the little fish guy?
Sakana Tori.
Okay. So I would never be able to say that right.
Let's hear you try that.
But I loved how the tail. Do what, Don?
That's literally fish bird. So.
Oh, cute. Oh, I said it again. But I loved how its tail could kind of flip, so it could be a base to stand on, or it could flip under.
I love that.
I love little details like that, and so I ended up going for just that toy, and I didn't get the one from Teresa, and I'm kind of sad because it's been kind of hard to find those. So then when I saw the Gotcha series was going to have little mini versions, I got super excited, and I love the little sitting position they're in. So those will be super cute. And I said it again. Now I'm going to notice that I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Fishbird has actually been on my want list since I saw photos of it at DesignerCon last year. So I don't have one yet, but hey, it's official. I had requested the days off work, so I'm going to be at DesignerCon this year. And hopefully there will be some Fishbirds for me to pick up.
You're doing
it. What? Yeah. Both of those vinyl toys are just beautifully engineered for soft vinyl. They're both sculpted by the same sculptor, PP Pudding.
I didn't know that. I love PP Pudding.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. I learn new things.
Okay, wait. Can we pause for a second and talk about this Gachapon series that we're talking about, the Series 11? So the acronyms was actually the Vinyl Artist Gotcha series, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
But the acronym is actually VAG. Does anyone realize how unfortunate that is? I really don't want to call it the VAG series.
No, I never say it as the abbreviation.
How do you say it?
If I see VAG, I say vinyl artist gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Like I've never abbreviated it when I've talked about it. Dawn, are you supposed to?
I
Do
was
you know?
I was actually at a meeting with the guy from Medicom yesterday, and he said Vagu.
Magoo?
Vagu.
No.
Vagu.
Vagu?
Like Vagu.
Okay.
Vagu.
Good to know.
So I personally I say VAG.
VAG.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to say it.
I know I don't want to say it the way my mind goes to, but
Dirty mind. But think about whenever you see a acronym, usually you say like Toy Chronicle is TTC. You don't try to say like Tateta.
True. Okay, you're right in that respect. You're absolutely correct. So I do have a dirty mind, and I apologize.
But anyway, I think it's going to be great. Do you know, actually, is it going to be the box version or the original kind of in the plastic?
When they announce the series, those are always the Gachapon series first. And then basically what they've done is with more popular ones is then they do a blind box series because they can distribute the blind box ones much broader so they can do more volume. So that's kind of like this. You graduate up to the if your toys are really popular, then you get graduated up to a blind box.
Nice.
So
Gotcha on a gotcha.
there you go.
Gotcha on the good. Nice, I like that. So when do I get a gotcha series, Don?
I don't know. Talk to Kid Robot.
No, I don't want to. I want to be in a VAG series.
Your Whooper maybe could lean that way.
I could cutify, make a small little Hermes or a miniature Whooper or something. I'm going to anyways, whether it's the Gachapon.
Yeah.
You know.
That I totally want chibi versions of your characters. Even if it's just for me, I want them to happen. So
I'll make it happen. Maybe in time for DesignerCon. We'll see.
Ooh, I'm gonna hold you to that.
No, don't hold me to it. It's coming up fast, but we'll see. Maybe.
Who else would be good for a Gotcha series like that on the Western side? Who else would you want to see besides Gary's stuff?
Oh, great question.
That was a good question.
Okay, I gotta go look at my feed to get inspiration.
I think all of like Scott's little cookie dudes, those would be awesome.
Scott Tolson, yeah, I think he would be good. I think Chris Reiniak would be amazing for a Gachapon series.
Yeah, even Amanda's stuff. I was thinking like Treasons from.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I mean she used to make some smaller ones back in the day and have a few of those, but the only kind of more recent ones have been those larger ones. So I think it'd be cool to see some super teeny Treasons come to life again, and then
little horrible horribles or something.
Yeah, those would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a pain in the butt to paint the way they would want, but that would be awesome.
Maybe Peter's bedtime bunnies, like teeny tiny version.
He was my first initial thought, but then I think he's going to have to do something with the ears. Otherwise, it's going to be really probably too small of a figure. Because right now, his bedtime bunny, his ears are just straight up, which is half the figure.
Maybe he could do like cute little floppy ears or something.
Yeah, maybe.
And they could sit.
Yeah, or sitting bedtime bunny. Yeah.
Sleeping bedtime.
Sleeping. Yeah, like laying down in like a little curled up position.
Fetal position.
Yeah.
Traumatized bedtime.
Oh, that's a fun thing to think through. I feel like I want to.
We might have to. Yeah, I might need some research time on this one, but I think the names we mentioned are good. But I know there's a lot more missing that would make great gotcha series. So something to revisit, I think.
For sure.
All right. Do you have any more recent sneak peeks, Teresa?
No, I think that'll cover it.
Okay. Now, Don, should we talk about what your 5-point experience was?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, it was. It was awesome. It was. First, it was just the first time I've been back to New York in 9 years.
Wow.
I haven't been back to New York since New York Comic Con 2008, and that's when we did the Kaiju Invades New York show at Toy Tokyo. It was like the first soft vinyl kaiju show in New York. It wasn't the first one in the U.S., but it was the first one in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I hadn't really been back. I love New York, but I hadn't really had a reason to go back. So, I was really excited to be back in New York. But, the show was just really, really awesome. I thought. And I think, everyone's talked about how the East Coast has had sort of a decon-shaped hole
Yeah.
that, and the five pointy peg fit in the hole pretty well, I think.
Now, was 1,000 Toys an early vendor? Did you guys get in early, or is this something you were a late comer to? Like, how early did you know that you were going to be, exhibiting there?
I started talking to Josh in, I want to say February.
Okay, so pretty early.
Pretty early, yeah. And he was kind of picking my brain about thinking of ways to get other overseas vendors in. So yeah, pretty early on. Yeah, it was right from the start. We were going to do the shared booth since we'd been doing that since Decon with companies. I thought working with Clutter was sort of the face of the show, but the Left Field Media, the company that put it on, those guys are pros, man.
They are. They know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was pretty impressed with dealings with them. Putting on a show anywhere else in the world is probably the logistics probably just can't even compare to having to arrange stuff in New York City.
Oh yeah.
So just had really great experience working with those guys. They helped us sort out. You saw our booth, right, Gary?
I did, yeah.
You swung by. We actually, I was trying to find a little more room because the custom show took up a lot of space, and especially because we had those pedestals shipped in from the West Coast. And I was talking to John, one of the guys from Left Field, and he basically said he had a couple of spare booths. So we actually talked to the guys, and I feel terrible. I forgot who they were, but the guys that were, next, Horrible Dorvals were on the end.
Yep.
And there was another booth right next to them. But so basically we negotiated. They actually moved to a different booth, so our booth could go all the way off the end of the row there, which made all the difference for us. So their Left Field again was just super cool about helping us work that out. So it made our experience extra special. And it was just great. I love the shows. Could get to see all the people, and finally got to meet Gary Ham.
Oh, stop. So we heard from last week, we did an episode talking about 5 points, and a lot of people, we heard from a couple of people that we didn't cover this Sufubi aspect of the event too much. Like, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So yeah, I noticed it was kind of, they kind of put it all right in that like center alley, right? Just beyond sort of the killing floor there for the
center stage. Yeah.
The main strip. And like most of the other shows I've been to around the world, like the people that are after that stuff are pretty hardcore. We could see them running by our booth when they opened opened the doors at the VIP launch 10. So it seemed like most of the guys I've talked to just saw final said the sales were pretty good.
Good.
There's a huge aftermarket for that stuff, so there's kind of some stuff you have to deal with on that, but
Are we talking about just flipping aspect?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just people who've been sent there to acquire things for. I mean, some flippers, but I mean, there are people who collect that just have a lot of money, so they are able to actually send agents into the field.
That's crazy.
The venue was right next to Chinatown, so I'm sure everybody's got an uncle they could phone up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this final stuff seemed to move pretty well, and it brings people into the show. I think those people.
I will say at the early entrance, the 10 a.m. time, I would say that's where the majority of the people were running till.
Yep.
Was that area.
Yep. No, but it brings people into the show, and then those people have to do something for the rest of the day. So likely to walk around and maybe find some new stuff to report to their masters.
Now, how was the queuing and lotteries handled in that section? Was it just first come, first serve, or did you show up at the booth and you get tickets? Or it kind of explains to us and the listeners who didn't get to experience it, how did the first comers obtain the desired possessions?
Well, I think, every booth basically has their own methodology to do it. I know that the Punk Drunkers Skull Toys Gokudo booth was kind of first come, first serve. One thing I thought was really cool, though, when I went down there just to check it out, there was a person from the event who looked at my badge and said, "Sorry, we're only letting attendees line up." 'Cause I had a visitor badge,
Oh, interesting.
which I thought was really, really good. Because there's a thing called the dealer dash, where the people who are actually just exhibitors, as soon as the doors open, they run to get a head start, get in line.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really good. And I know then other vendors would actually have a time when they'd sell, say we're doing a lottery, you could pick up a ticket anytime. And then, I mean, the Instinct toy lotteries were pretty epic when they were announcing on Sunday.
Hard to avoid hearing that. There was a pretty loud crowd around. And Teresa, you were one of the...
Yeah, I was a part of that.
Yeah, I saw you had a couple of wristbands around your wrist. What, 3 of them?
Well, it was going to be 3 for each of the different King Corps for a close friend and coworker of mine, Phil Back. But he decided that the Yeti was a little bit outside of his price point and not his favorite colorway, so I went for the other 2 instead. But they made it a lot of fun. Like they had like poster they would hold up and the figure and like get everyone super excited and cheering, and so they made it like a fun part, even though you didn't win. I mean, it's kind of sad when you don't win, but it was fun. It was fun the way they approached it. They made it kind of exciting, and they did like a countdown. So like if they had the number pulled and they're waiting for someone to arrive, like that number, no one was coming forward, they started this like countdown, like 10, 9, 8, and then if they got to 0, she'd like rip it up and throw it aside and go on to the next one. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it actually sounded like a fun time. And I heard that a previous guest of the show, Kevin.
He did.
He did. What was it? What did he win?
He won, I forget which of the King Corps, but they had 10 of the Yeti and then only 1 of each of the other 2, the Fantasy and the other, and I apologize for not knowing the colorways better. It was one of the ones they only had a single one to purchase. So
he got a super exclusive one.
And I was standing right next to him, and like I looked down and he was a number, and I was like, oh my God, he won. So I was like, I felt like I was a little bit a part of it. But
do you remember how much that figure was?
I believe, and
500?
Do not quote me on this, I believe the ones they were selling they only had 1 of each were around 400, and then the Yeti was like 550.
Oh, it's funny. I've seen lotteries where there's there'd be somebody, they've entered a lottery for a very expensive toy, and then they win, and there's this unique expression on their face where they're like happy that they've won, and then realize like how much money they actually have to now shell out. I don't think there's a name for that expression.
Yeah.
That's the oh crap expression. The oh.
It's like pure joy and pure agony all mashed together. So
I've heard game shows like Price is Right. It's the same sort of thing. So these contestants, they go on and they win a lot of things. But what they don't realize is they have to pay taxes on all of those winnings. And usually, most people don't take the prizes home because they don't have the money to pay for the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So
if they announced that a tax amount during the show, then you would see that expression.
Exactly. That would be great. You just won a new car, and you owe us $5,000.
You just won $5,000 in taxes.
But yeah, a car for $5,000 is
right.
Still... Right?
Right. But I imagine a lot of contestants, are money strapped and just don't have, it's great having the car, but then they have to turn around and sell the car to pay for the taxes at the end of the year. So,
yeah.
So I'm sure that's to some of the toys.
What toys did you buy, Don?
I don't buy toys.
No?
No. No, that's a lie. I bought, I bought something I was very excited about. From the Sucklord. He had sort of an old school style, one of his like blister carded, the old school black and white backing card. It was a figure for his new girlfriend, and actually I realized it was my 10-year anniversary of meeting the Sucklord, and 10 years ago at Comic-Con I actually got figures of his old girlfriend. So it was sort of
okay.
It was it's kind of a sentimental, nostalgic thing. So I kind of had to get that to complete my. She's been she's been retconned into the pantheon, as it were.
Okay.
So I got her inside it. So yeah, I was pretty happy to get that sentimental figure.
Cool. What a lot of people probably don't know, Don, is that you're kind of like you're like the glue between like Western artists and Japanese artists. So you're walking around, you're introducing people to, like, you introduced me to the punk drunkers, and I probably never would have had the chance to meet them if it wasn't for you. So I think you do a good service for a lot of people, being able to translate and be there and connect people, and so that's very cool that you're able to do that for everybody.
I mean, that's the main reason I go. Because I love to do that. So, yeah.
Now, how would you personally? So we had a flipping episode recently where we discussed flipping and how to solve for it and stuff like that. Do you have any personal thoughts as to how you would personally handle a better chance for everyone to obtain the item that they're really hoping for? Or do you think lottery really is the best way to approach it?
I've thought a lot about this issue. A lot of and I think it's kind of up to the artist about how they want to handle it. I mean, some people just make more toys. I know that, lotteries are obviously the current way to do it. I know that some artists now are talking about having lotteries where you actually have to be pre-approved for your lottery ticket, and your lottery ticket will be sent out ahead of time. So
oh my gosh, it's becoming like an auction house where you have to like submit your financials, get approved before you can bid on an auction.
Right.
Wow.
Is that how it works? You have to show that you can pay for it? Is that what it means?
Not that you pay for it, that you're a real collector and that it's actually going into your collection as opposed to
interesting.
You're getting it.
Wow.
How do they prove that? Like, how does that work?
I do not know.
It sounds research involved. Like you really have to like delve into someone's collecting history and who they are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're not, a lot of the guys know who their collectors are. I mean, they have relationships with them. So yeah, you almost wonder if they should just move to like a sort of a patronage type, instead of like selling things in any semblance of the free market where it's just, you're a patron like the Medicis or something, and your fans pay you directly to make a toy, and there's no actual releasing of anything at events. Otherwise, it's the way around it to me, where it's all just done behind the scenes. But what fun is that?
I mean, like I said, there is a fun to the hunt. There is the fun and the excitement of participating in a lottery and knowing that your name is called and all that. So I totally get it. That's awesome. But at the same time, like, I personally feel like, man, I feel bad for the person who was really, really, really hoping for that figure and their name wasn't called. It's like you sort of want everyone to be happy at the end of the day, but that's not always the case. And there's always the option of, well, just make more, but that's more expensive. That's and unfortunately, this designer toy scene is very fueled based on hype and sellouts. You see it all the time where someone sells something out and a minute later they're on Instagram, sold out, and that just creates more hype for the next release. So I understand why people are only making 5 or 10 colorways of something and they're not too concerned about the 30 people that really want that colorway. But it's unfortunate. I like to see people happy, and I do think that doing a lottery probably is the best way to do it. But
well, do you feel like any kind of booth limits are ever applied? Like when I was going through the Instinct toy booth, originally we were thinking, someone had told me they had heard that it was going to be a limit of one or two per person. I can't remember if it was like per item or per coming through the booth. But then we found out while we were waiting in line that it was actually like, it was a limit, but you could go through the line as much as you want. So like you could go through the line, get your thing, but then get back in line and get another. And so I was like, well, like you're saying you have booth limits, but not really. Like, especially with that VIP hour, if like that wants to be your thing, you could spend that hour just like rinsing through that line. And so I'm just curious if you seem to see like if people ever really enforce strict booth limits, Don, or like, if that works or not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can assume that's kind of a given, the booth limit stuff, because all the stuff we were selling, it was only one per customer, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's the whole VIP thing that does throw a new wrinkle on it. I think that's the first show I've been at that has sort of the VIP hour beforehand, which I kind of mixed feelings about as well.
Does this happen at the Asia conventions as well, Don, or is it mainly because the Easterners are now coming to Western conventions and it's stuff that's probably harder to obtain? Is there just more hype and desire trying to obtain their toys here, or do you just see the same thing over in Asia?
Oh, you guys are just getting the sort of abbreviated export version of it. It's a magnitude crazier at everything over here.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess we have it easy and we just don't know it.
No, it sounds like we got to go out and experience it out there, Teresa.
I know. I kind of want to. Let's add that to the list. Get out to
There you
Japan.
Bucket list.
I think you're at have the podcast from the, do a location.
I would love to. We're going to have to
That
work
would
it into the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gary, are you going to
kickstart
sponsor
that.
that for me?
Can you fit into my luggage?
I sure will try.
Okay.
You should kickstart that, Gary. Like the
That
Asia
Yes.
tour.
Asia tour, I would love to. I don't know if that's a Kickstarter thing. That sounds like, what's the other
Indiegogo.
crowdfunding site?
Don't
Indiegogo.
Don't use
I know,
that site.
I know.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm not going to make a pennant to help fund this travel experience.
You
But I might set up maybe a little, I've seen Toy Chronicle and other places have just a little, hey, if you like what we're doing, here's a little button. If you ever feel like donating $5 or however much you want, $1, 50 cents, you can. So maybe I should set up something to where maybe we could, generate enough funds that we could go to ToyCon or an Asia convention or something like that and get out and about, get outside of my little studio space here.
Or if you want, anytime I can do a location one call in from when I'll probably be at an Asian show or two.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So,
Which actually works for you guys because right now it's almost 8 o'clock for me. And what time is that for you? 11?
it's 11:30. Yeah.
Okay, so, you're in morning time. So, almost afternoon now. So our schedules actually works out pretty well for when we do or normally record. I've actually find it kind of difficult to try to get European guests on because of our time difference. It's usually either we stay up really late on our end or they wake up super early on their end, and we definitely need to change that.
Well,
Gary, you should go ahead, Don.
I was just saying, my April, basically when I was doing prepping stuff for 5 Points and the UK at the same time, there was basically somebody up any time. So it felt like I was open 24/7 there for the month of April.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Teresa?
I was going to say, you should make an exception about the Thursday evening recordings. We could totally record like early on a Saturday.
Yeah. No. Totally. I completely agree with you.
Be a little flexible.
I am very flexible.
I know
I can
you
put my
are.
leg behind my head. I can. I'm triple jointed. No. No. I totally agree with you. I think I definitely need to reach out to. We need to get to the Philippines. They're having sort of an explosion of designer toys there. I'd love to talk with Gary over at Toy Chronicle. Yeah, so we definitely need to venture out more, and if we have to start recording maybe on a early Saturday morning or a Sunday or whatever, I'm good to go if you are.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to definitely expand out and bring some of those people in. So let's do it.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. Yeah, I'm still kicking myself for not grabbing a pennant.
Oh, I still
I don't know
have plenty. No
thinking.
worries. Oh, well, here's something. So I finally released all the 5 Points leftovers on my web store, and I sort of did it in kind of a jerkish move. And when I did it, I got a text from Teresa. She's like, "Oh, Gary, you do what I hate. You did a surprise, a surprise store release." And I get it. Like, I didn't really think about it. I was just finally excited that I finally got all the products in my store. I'm like, man, I'm just going to snap a picture of my dog and all the toys and get this thing going. And then, but that's not right to do, Don. You really should give your fan base a little heads up on this sort of stuff. Because I feel bad because the original Whooper Looper and the Fatty Whooper Looper, sold out within that day. The problem with doing it through Instagram is it's no longer a scrollable feed. Like, you never just know where anyone's going to find your post anymore.
Yep.
And when I did it, I'm sure that most people in Europe are probably sleeping. Got a few orders from Australia and stuff like that. So I wish I had given at least a 24-hour notice to that, because Don, where I screwed up is previously going to 5 Points Fest, I received emails from several collectors like really, really wanting a Fatty or an OG or a Logan or something like that. And I said, okay, sure. But what I really want to do first is I want to ensure that the attendees have the first opportunity at it. Yep. But if I have any leftover stock, I'll contact you and I'll take care of you. But unfortunately,
I see where this is going.
You see where this is going. I'm a jerk, right? So I did not take notes on this sort of stuff. A lot of these contacts came through when I was traveling, and I would just answer them on the bus or whatever. And so yeah, I missed a few people, maybe about 3 or 4 people, and I feel absolutely terrible. So I will make it up for them on the next colorway release. And so yeah, people doing store releases, if you can, it would be much appreciated by collectors if you give them a little heads up. These surprise drops, Teresa will tell you,
they hurt. They hurt. Well, you have to realize from like a collector standpoint, well, I'm a little crazy and I like a lot of stuff, but if there's something I really, really want, especially if it was like a convention thing, I'm going to be watching carefully to find out when you're going to list it. Right. But like you said, Instagram's not as easy to follow these days. So like when you post, it's not like it's going to pop in my feed right away necessarily. And so it's just, from my standpoint, I much prefer, even if it's international, they say, hey, I'm in the UK and I feel like launching at 8 a.m. Okay, at least I know when you're launching it. And if I have to set an alarm and wake my butt up at 3 a.m. to go buy that toy and go back to sleep, I'll do it. But at least then I know when it is, and it's on me to forget or miss it, kind of a thing. Whereas exactly. If I'm sleeping, there's been a few times Unbox Industries has released a few things that I really wanted, and I kept putting them online at 4 a.m. And if I didn't know about it, obviously I'm just sleeping. And by the time I wake up and I see that they were even for sale, I go to their site, they're already sold out, and it bums you out. So. Oh,
I get it, and it's still weighing on me that I missed the people that I told I was going to set some aside for. That stuff bothers me. I'm bummed that I let some slip through the cracks. But the problem is I'm getting contacted through Instagram, Facebook, email, and I just did not do a good enough job of tracking things. And usually what I do is I'll have a safety stock of at least 2 set aside from the online inventory. But I didn't really even have that this time, and they all went much faster than expected. And I'm sorry, I apologize to anyone who was disappointed by that, and I will make it up to you next time.
Don't beat yourself up, Gary.
That's what I do, Teresa.
You shouldn't.
You should.
I actually wonder how many artists. Overall, I think in the community, everyone's extremely nice and willing to try to do that, but it's hard, right? It's hard for you as an artist to try to hold stuff back, but then what about those people who are trying to be patient and just wait for the store release, right? There may be people saying, oh, I'm not going to be that person to DM or message you on Facebook and be like, please, you know what I mean? There may be people saying, I'm going to be good, I'm going to wait, hopefully there's one left, and I'm going to wait for the store release. So it's hard.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's certainly tricky, but again, you want to please all your fans too. It's like the Whooper Looper. There's a lot of axolotl lovers out there, and there's people saying, "Oh, I've been searching one for years. I haven't been able to get one, and it has been several years since I have done a colorway, and maybe I should have done a little larger run, knowing that there was a good fan base for the axolotl and Whooper Looper toys and stuff like that, and but it's also very exciting for the people who did see the surprise release. You've been through that too, or you're like, oh my gosh, I got to jump on this and I got it, and they're excited about it. So the ones who did get it, I know they're super excited. So, it's not like there's hundreds of people that missed out. It's just really that there's, I heard from maybe 10 people, oh man, I can't believe I missed, and asking when the next release is going to be. And, I think so for the next one, I'm not going to keep it, as small of a run. I'll probably do a little bit more. I'm not one of these guys that's worried about having that sellout status. I would rather have more toys in more people's hands than not. If at the end of the day I'm sitting on 10 or 20, those will sell eventually over time. So
does this mean for sure more Whooper colorways?
Yeah, I definitely want to. No, it's definitely going to happen. So it's just a matter of getting them done. Maybe in time for Designer Con. I don't know. We'll see.
Gary, here's something for you to think about.
Hit me.
So a couple of the, so like we were talking about Teresa Chiba, her Haragon, and Hikari Bambi. They both have open edition colorways of those toys.
Yes.
So there's people who just want that toy. They have a colorway that's sort of the OG colorway. That when those sell out, they just make more.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of a nice balance because I think there is part of the fan base that just wants, thinks it's a cute toy and just wants one.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So I was originally thinking that the very first Woopa Looper was by far the largest run I did. It was 100 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay now to re-release that colorway? Or is that something that the collectors are just like, no, that was limited to 100. Mine's more valuable because that edition is sold out. Would it upset people if I was to make what I considered the original colorway, the one that, usually when artists do colorways, 5 or 7 of something, the first one they do is always exactly how they originally intended it to be. So what do you two think? Would that be wrong to make the original one an open edition now, or no?
Do you want to go first, Teresa, or me?
Oh man, you can go first.
Okay. I would say it's wrong.
Okay.
But what you could do, and what I've seen artists do, is you do it pretty much the same colors, but you do make a variation on it somehow with maybe like a spot hit somewhere else or something slightly different. So
Okay.
It is an actual variation, but for the most part, it keeps the same. It's the OG color, but there is a discernible color variation or something on it somewhere.
Okay.
And so that's sort of the open edition one. So
you got to be very upfront about that. It's going to be an open edition.
Yep.
Okay.
And so there's the hardcore. The hardcore.
Now let's hear the collector's viewpoint.
Okay.
Teresa.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the selfish one who doesn't own one and be like, yeah, make more. But so you say that like you should be really upfront about open edition, but I will tell you, so those prisoner little bears that Lucci did.
Yeah.
So the very first one, the white one, Vicodin, I don't think that was clearly stated as an open edition idea, like kind of concept. I think people thought when they were first buying it that it was really limited, but then like it seemed like over time more kept coming. Like Monkey King put more out, and then My Plastic Heart and StrangeCat Toys and other stores were getting them in stock. And it's kind of like, all right, like what is this edition size? So it like up front they didn't necessarily call it open edition, but they also didn't declare an edition size, whereas like later on with the other colorways they've done, they've been more specific to say like this is limited to 300, this is limited to 500. So I think like selfishly I want more because I missed out on them, but yeah. I kind of feel like I agree with Dawn in the fact that since you already declared like this is an edition of 100, it's kind of not fair to go back and say, oh, no, it's not. But I think if you were to like release one and not necessarily clarify an edition and kind of feel it out and say like kind of feel like how popular it is, and maybe you only make 50 or 100. If they sell out super quick, you go ahead and make more because you didn't necessarily declare a specific amount being made. But yeah. I like that idea. I think it's an interesting concept to have kind of more of that open edition idea so that if you really just want to get one, you can eventually get it. It might just take a while versus constantly seeing colorway after colorway after colorway that you're like, I'm not going to be able to get that. It's at this convention. I'm not going to be able to get that. It's sold at this gallery. And it can kind of weigh on you over and over. So I think that's a really interesting idea for people to embrace, like the idea of maybe a open edition version and then limited versions thereafter.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking another route to take too would just be pre-order.
Yep.
Show an example, and however many orders you get, keep it open for 2 weeks or whatever orders you get for that 2 weeks, that's what gets produced. Because one thing about the Woopa Looper, or a lot of people that are doing Sofubi-based toys, is they're only doing runs of between 10 and mainly 30, very small run sizes. So they're able to sell them pretty much directly themselves. So the retailers aren't really getting many of these toys unless, so I would really like to help out the retailers too and like somehow get a colorway into their hands. Not necessarily do an exclusive colorway, open it up to several retailers wanted to say, hey, here's this colorway, pre-order it. Just give everyone a chance to make a little something on it and then go that route too. So that's another option to consider.
Yeah. The only other thing I was going to say, and it's kind of a side note, but we were talking about like people missing out, and like there are times, kind of like a lottery, but I don't know if you've ever considered like I don't know if people will really like this, but like Instinct Toy is an example of one where they'll make a certain amount of a toy, but they don't just put it online or have a specific sell date. They do like email lotteries where you have a chance to potentially buy it. I don't know. I just wonder if, depending upon the toy, if that would be an interesting path to take as well. Like if you knew you only wanted to make a certain amount of it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a lot to consider. I definitely want to make more. I just want to make sure I love the idea of an open edition. I love the idea of somehow getting them into retailers' hands and helping, the community. We need to support our stores and all that too. So, I definitely need to consider it. Now, I would definitely like to revisit Wooper Looper too. Like we were talking about maybe Gachapon, although that's probably be a little too close to one that's already out there. So
which
probably,
one?
You talk about Byron?
Byron, don't you think Wooper Looper
No.
maybe if I shrunk it down might be a little too close to Byron?
Not at all.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't let
you
that
heard
stop
it now.
you.
You heard it now because I swear if I do it and I hear crap from stupid people saying that I'm stepping on Byron's toes, I don't want to hear it.
I don't think you are at all.
Dude, you're around 5 years before the Byron.
Yeah.
I know. And there's no.
And you haven't said anything to Byron, so you're like...
No, but we're both based on axolotls. There could, I would love to have 100 axolotl toys out there. It's the same thing with, bat toys and giraffe toys and all the other ones. It's just no one person owns an animal. It's up for free grabs.
We should get you guys to do a collaboration.
Yeah, love to.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I don't think that should stop you at all. I don't think they'd be too similar. But if you're really, really nervous, shoot me a sketch. I'll get the inside scoop. I'm going to let you know.
Okay. No, I think mine would be, different enough too. But I know her, Byron's very, very based on salamander as well. So I just, I don't want to step on any toes.
So Gary, I got to ask, because I actually don't even know, and I just tried Googling and I can't find it. What is the OG Wooper Looper colorway?
Oh, it was released at San Diego in 2012.
Okay, the white with pink?
Yep.
Like the pink belly and pink mouth and
pink belly, has the blush. Yeah, I think that's the only one that has the blush spray. So that was the 100 edition. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You'll hate me, but that's actually not my favorite one.
No.
I think I'd probably pick a different color.
Yeah.
If you laid out all, I'm kind of
okay.
Googling
It's not my personal favorite is the Neapolitan one. I like Neapolitan, and I love the way that one turned out. So that's probably my personal favorite. But
I think I like the blue ones.
Yeah.
Didn't you do a Toy Con one?
Oh yeah, the Toy Con UK. So that was a Tiffany blue with a hot pink spray. Yeah.
I like that one. That one's pretty. That's like
good.
that's the one that the KV plushie is based off of.
Yes. Yep. We did that around the same time. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to have you select the colors for the next colorway. How about that?
Ooh! You just made me so happy.
Yep, let me know. And we'll make it happen.
That'll be fun.
Speaking of fun, you know what's fun? Sponsors. So we have some great sponsors here on the Marsham Toy Hour. We got printsonwood.com. If you're an artist or photographer and you've ever wanted to have your work printed on beautiful, sustainable wood, well, head on over to printsonwood.com and they'll take care of you. And for all your designer toy needs, we got two great stores. We got 3dretro.com, and they are also a brick and mortar location out there in Southern California. I believe Burbank adjacent out there. Beautiful store. I hear amazing events held there, so be sure to check it out. And there's also StrangeCatToys.com. And if you head on over to StrangeCatToys.com and you use promo code Marsham at checkout, you will receive 10% off your order. Now, how do you guys feel about unpainted stuff versus painted? Are you into? Do you ever purchase unpainted toys, or do you prefer? Because I would know that something like Whooper Looper, I know a lot of people have been asking for unpainted stuff because they want to customize them, but for me, there's not quite enough detail for it to make it a real standout, like impressive unpainted piece. But some people like unpainted. So where do you guys stand on that?
I like the simplicity of it, but I feel like it misses the life. Like it needs life in its eyes, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
and so like I'm looking at one of, it looks like you did a pink one.
Yeah.
Back a while ago, and so I'm looking at it. I'm like, literally, I think you could take this, and if the eyes were black, and that was the only colored part, I'd probably be good with it. Like I feel like that's the one piece that lacks for me on unpainted pieces is that it's almost not alive yet. But other than
Right.
that, like I don't mind the simplicity of like a single color piece at all. Like I have tons of really simplistic colored pieces, so that's the one hiccup for me.
Where do you stand on it, Don?
Kind of depends on the toy. I like if you're kind of interested in the toy as sort of an artifact where you're really just looking at the sculpt and not trying to, seeing it as a toy of a character. I could see how, I have a lot of unpainted stuff and that makes you can really focus on the sculpt and the thing as an object. But if it's just a straight up character toy, I would like the Whooper Looper or any of the like other cute stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people would just like, if it's not painted, it's not really unless you're a hardcore collector and it's like, that's a variant you're after.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
The Whooper Looper, it's all of a piece. With the color and the paint and everything.
Yeah. It's a good point because, like, when I think of James Groman's work, for example,
Yes.
like his sculpts are very, very detailed. So, like, even like I saw that Metacom all black colorway, it allows you to appreciate it. So I get that from that perspective, Don. Like, if it's more simplistic, you're probably not getting that benefit of just kind of admiring the sculpt.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's a lot about the sculpt. I think there's two reasons you go unpainted. Is one, you want to showcase just the sculpt work, or you want to showcase like the shaping and the silhouettes and the form of the figure. But when it comes to like just detailed sculpting, I feel like you mentioned the jet black version that they did of the King Corpse for Metacom. I just feel that the darker colors, like a jet black, tends to hide the sculpt work more than if you went with a lighter color. I think a lot of the lighter colors show that detail a lot more beautifully. But so, is there a favorite color that you guys prefer for your unpainted?
Yeah, certainly. Black. It depends on the sculpt. I have some unpainted matte black stuff. That's not like on a matte finish, and that stuff's gorgeous because you can really see it. But yeah, usually a black toy is just can't really see anything on it. What do you guys think about though? There's a lot of people doing marbled vinyls now, or also there's been a lot of. I actually did a lot of releases a few years back of like glitter in the vinyl, which kind of.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the glitter. It just doesn't appeal to me. I think a lot of times it's just really overdone. I think if it's, I don't know. I haven't really seen one that I've really taken to. Another thing I've never really taken to either. A lot of people seem to like is clears. I very rarely have ever seen a clear that's appealed to me unless they've done something by putting something on the inside that still made the figure pop. I don't like seeing the joint work and all that stuff in the clear stuff. But as far as the marble that you're talking about, I have seen really successful examples of it. Like I think the Lulubelle Rotten Rex that they did, it looked fantastic. Like it's supposed to look like raw meat or raw, like rotten flesh, and that looked amazing. But I've also seen other artists try to do the same treatment with their toy, and the color choices or whatever happened, it just didn't work. It did not resemble what they were going for. And I think another thing with marbling too is, well, Ryan did this at 5 Points Fest. He did a marbling of the Logan on the very last day. It had the nice swirl treatment, and they look fabulous. A lot of people stopped by really liking them. But what I noticed was I would see a bunch of them, and some appealed to me and some didn't. So if I ever wanted to buy a marble, I would probably feel more like I need to see all of them. I don't think I could just order one online. I would need to see, at least 10 of them, and then I would pick my favorite of that 10, just because they're all individually unique.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely would be like variation in that. It reminds me too of like the Uamo terracotta ones they did, where they took the large version, like the giant version, and kind of did like kind of a marbling effect, not so much of like full on marble, but like a mixing of colors. And like that was kind of a cool effect. And like it seemed like those were all pretty unique as well. Like it didn't like seem like they did a run of 10. It was like we ran like 10 variations, but they're all kind of one of a kind. I thought that was kind of a cool little concept to pick and choose which one you wanted. But I do agree with you, Gary, that while glitter, I like the idea of it, a lot of times when executed, and I think it's just the way glitter is, you just lose the details of the sculpt.
Exactly. It's just overpowering.
Right. Like, great example is Bayo, the new dumpling guy that Scott Tillison and Pauber Toys were working on.
Oh, for their Thailand Toy Expo?
Yeah. I love the figure, and cannot wait until more colorways come out so I can buy one. But when they released the glitter one, I was super excited because I've been waiting for this figure. But then it's a little sad to me because I want it, but the glitter just kind of loses all his features.
Yeah.
And so it just looks like, and so I tend to avoid glitter as well. I have like a few Amanda, Louise Spade, or Chris Roniaks from their Patreon awards. They'll do some like kind of glitter one-offs. And I think that like I even talked to them about it and they're like, we're completely aware. Like we're always cognizant of the colors and the things we do and trying not to erase the features of our figures when we do that kind of stuff. So I think other people are aware of trying to find that balance, but sometimes I think it gives a nice effect, but you kind of lose the actual figure behind it.
Yeah. If done too heavy, it just doesn't appeal to me. Like you mentioned the Bayo, I think that was probably just too heavy for my personal taste. But then there are people that do it very minimally. I think there's successes in that for me. Like I know someone like Candy Bolton, she'll often do like a metallic, almost like a pearlescent finish over some of her work, and I think that's really nice. That gives a nice sheen to it.
Yeah, like subtle glitter.
It's subtle, yeah. Where if the light just catches it just right, you'll get it. You'll see it on cars and stuff too, where you get that pearlescent, where it almost, sometimes it looks flat, sometimes it looks shiny. It's that I like pearlescent touches, but not the glitter. And is that an Asia thing? Like I know someone was saying that Thailand, they really like their gold toys, and so maybe that's why they went glitter or stuff like that. Do you notice more stuff like that overseas where certain countries like gold or this and that?
I don't know. It's just a thing that the vinyl factory can do, so people try it out. I mean, speaking of Scott and glitter, did you see the Deadbeats that he recently that were also done in the gold glitter, but then we did a metallic rub over them?
I recall seeing them, but I didn't study them enough because once you saw
the glitter, that was it.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I just go that doesn't really appeal to me, and just keep scrolling. It's nothing against Scott or the sculpt or Deadbeat itself. It's just sometimes you're just scrolling through a website and you stop on what catches your eye and what keep going when something doesn't.
But that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We all have our personal collector tendencies.
And I know there are some people who love glitter. Like that's like what they want, what they collect. So I mean, I think it's good that people offer it. I mean, if there's a market for it and people are buying it, by all means, make some glitter colorways. I mean, maybe people would maybe on your next Whooper, maybe you play with that kind of idea of like aspects of glitteriness in there.
I could see where on the gills on the side of his head, where just the spray on the gills. Okay, maybe I could do that in glitter. That might look cool.
Yeah.
But I will not be doing a full all glitter look. Deluxe once did a custom of. Well, no, he did a small micro run, and he did the pearlescent finish. And I had to say, even though that's not a mass-produced run, it was a small run of I think 10 or 15 pieces. That probably personally is my favorite because of that pearlescent finish on it. It looks really, really good. Unfortunately, it doesn't show in the photos, but in hand, you can just kind of spin it and get that sheen of that finish, and I think it's really, really cool.
Is that the purple, green, creamy one?
Yeah, it's exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's hard because you were even talking about clear. The hiccup for me on clear, and I own some, and I know I contradict myself. I'll say I don't want it, and then I get it anyway. But where I struggle with it, I don't so much mind clear. I own some clear toys. The biggest hiccup for me is seeing the joints. So where like the tail meets the body or the body meets the head. If it's done in a way where it's sort of still hidden, like you still have that see-through appearance, but that's not super obvious, I'm fine with it. Like I bought the rainbow clear Elfie, and like that's just one piece, and it's got this really cool sort of rainbow effect inside of it, see-through, and depending upon the way the light hits it, it changes. So like I love that piece.
Mm-hmm.
I like that clear aspect, but when it's a clear piece, but you see all those joints, it kind of ruins it a bit for me. Like it doesn't feel complete. So I struggle with that kind of a clear piece where
I'm with you too. And sometimes there's imperfections. So I had the Whooper Looper done in a clear purple, and 20 of them looked great, and then there was 10 that had just like runs or drips almost on the inside of the vinyl. And sometimes they were in places that someone would be not have a problem with it, but maybe on a few of them the drip was like right down the center of the face or through an eye. So maybe it just wasn't the best ideal sculpt or figure to do a clear on, but so I haven't done another clear since that one.
Yep.
Hey Don, is there like so like when you're making Sofubi, if you wanted like not full glitter, but like a glittery aspect, is that like possible to combine like color with just like how would you achieve that effect?
I mean, basically they just dump glitter into the vinyl before they pour it into the mold. And actually a lot of the toys back in the day would just have a little smattering of glitter put into the vinyl. It's kind of just the last recent with the newer ones where they've like, let's see how much glitter. So it's basically completely like made of glitter. But I mean, traditionally you can put as much or as little glitter into the vinyl. And the ones that are glitter, those are basically clear vinyl with glitter in them. So you could do colored clear with glitter.
Whose teapot's going off?
That's a truck outside.
Oh, with really bad brakes. I came up with a question this week, and I'm kind of curious what you would say. Let's say you hit the Powerball, Don, Teresa. You're a multimillionaire all of a sudden, right? How do you think that changes your collecting habits? Or what do you do with all that moolah?
Moolah.
What do you do? Do you think it changes how you collect? Do you think you buy more original pieces? Do you think your house just becomes wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling toys? Like, do you think it changes you at all? What's your thoughts?
You want to go first, Don, or you want me to go?
I would definitely get a bigger house first off. Space is at a premium.
Yeah. Are you going to start collecting 400% Bear bricks and start tracking all the old toys down?
Yeah, I would go after more vintage stuff because that's what I like. So there's there's stuff that I want that I will never, probably buy just because it's stupid, crazy expensive. Mm-hmm. But that would
even if you hit the Powerball.
Oh no, I'm saying this is pre Powerball.
I got you.
Powerball, they're all mine.
Well, now you're extremely wealthy, Don. What are you going to do?
Oh, I'm going to acquire your podcast corporation.
Oh, I'll sell it to you.
So just buy. It'd probably be almost all vintage stuff. So you can spend a lot of money on vintage Japanese vinyl toys. So
okay,
that's what I'd do.
Teresa, what would you do?
I already buy probably more than I should. I kind of feel like I would kind of two things. Like one thing that I feel like is always a frustrating thing as a collector is not being able to travel to go to all the different shows happening. So I feel like if I struck the Powerball, I would just like make that a thing. Like every year I'd go to Toy Con UK and Thailand Toy Expo and travel to all these different gallery shows. Like money wouldn't be a concern, right? So I could just go pop up to Chicago and go see, the next gallery show at Rotofugi if I wanted kind of an idea. So I'd still keep collecting, obviously, but I'd probably use some of it to go to the events and keep collecting at those kind of things. Probably the other thing, too, is like I see toy ideas. Like you'll post sketches of something that's like, yeah, this is like an idea we had, but it never came to life. And like artists do that all the time, right? So like it'd be really cool to come upon money and be like, all right, like we're going to make this project happen. Like I will support and fund this thing to come to life. So that could be really cool too. And then probably from like the collecting side, one of the things that I always hate that I have to hold off on is customs. And I know we talked about customs before and kind of the hesitancy there, but there's a lot of great people who do customs out there, but I just can't afford it all. Like I would love to go out and support artists at that level, and I just can't. So I feel like maybe that's another area I could reach out and be like, yeah, sure. Like, you know, let's whip up an idea that we both have in our head and make something cool. So that could be cool too.
Did you have this question at the time?
No, we haven't.
She sounds like she's put a lot of thought into it. Good answer.
Do what?
She's quick on her toes.
There we go.
No, I mean, I like all that. And I think, I mean, it would be very cool to help produce toys. But something that I've always wanted to do, so if I ever became, like, stupidly, this would be very, very expensive, but if I ever hit the $500 million Powerball, I think it would be amazing to, well, one, I would love to do, like, state parks, but themed in designer toys. So imagine slides and spinners and stuff themed out with Chris Reiniak's work or something like that. So just like, you know, just a public park, but with a very designer toy aspect. Well, you know, maybe Friends with You or Ugly Dolls or Tokidoki rides or something like that. But to take that a bit further, I would love to do a theme park. So, you know, you got Peppa Pig theme parks and Disneyland and all that. And I would like to do something for designer toys, again with, you know, Reiniak rides or Amanda Louis Spade Dust Bunny teacups, and then within the fact, you know, within the theme park, we would do, you know, maybe a monthly release, you know, kind of what, you know, Wonderground Gallery does at Disneyland, where we would have a gallery on site where we would have shows, but every week or month we would release toys and maybe have a factory on location where you can do resin and people could do a tour and see all the steps of toy making and stuff like that. But that's what I would do if I had stupid, insane money.
Sounds awesome.
But collecting wise, I really don't think I would be that much different. I'm the kind of collector, I don't like clutter. I like to kind of, you know, everything look tidy. Maybe I would have a bigger house and have custom designed shelves and stuff.
That's a good point.
I
wouldn't want like a museum house, but it is a good point, like investing in like customizing some kind of really cool display or like shelf idea. Yeah,
we wouldn't be shopping at IKEA anymore for our shelves, right?
I just think it'd be fun also to just like make a stupid buy. Like, you know, like, yeah. Okay, like let's go for kicks. Go buy this thing that I really shouldn't spend $1,000 on, but why not, kind of a thing. I don't know. I can't think of like an example.
No, that sounds awesome. I mean, it must be nice to be able to go to a convention without a budget. Just to be able to walk around and maybe something catches your eye and yeah, it's a couple $1,000s, but no problem. Crack open your wallet and buy it. That would be amazing.
Right. It'd be kind of fun just to like, yeah, go out there and like, just, I don't know.
I think you would be very dangerous if you hit the Powerball.
Yeah, it really would. It really would. I mean, obviously, there's probably non-toy things we would do with the Powerball money as well, sure. Right? You know, but
share the wealth is what I'm saying. Help me out.
Okay, well,
assuming there's enough left after taxes.
True. Right. Yeah. I mean, the taxes on what $500 million might be $300 million. So I don't know if she can handle. You might have to budget $200 million, Teresa.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you don't realize, Dawn, I'm constantly like
a package daily arrives.
It's pretty frequent. I mean, I try to kind of reel it in, but like, you know, stuff catches my eye and I go for it, and so I have a pretty consistent amount of toys flowing my way. But so if I had like no constraints for money, oof.
See, I want to talk to you. Fairly new to collecting within the last several years, right? So I want to talk to you 10 years from now, where it's just become too much.
Me?
Yeah. Do you ever see you're going to have to start cutting back or selling part of the collection to make room for more? Like 10 years from now, if you keep up this pace that you're at,
I mean,
it's going to be like floor to ceiling.
It's kind of already feeling slightly out of hand. I won't lie. Like I got back from 5 Points. I was like, I don't know where I'm going to put this stuff. Like. Yeah. Y'all don't realize that when I post stuff to Instagram sometimes, like that, like the group photo I posted, like that's not how I'm displaying it.
Yeah.
Like that's just you know, I just gathered it for a photo.
You're curating it for that specific photo, and then it goes back with the other hundreds of toys.
Right, and no, granted, like we've talked like I don't want to store like half my toys or have them all like hidden behind each other. Like I want to be able to view and see my collection. Like I have it for a reason. So my biggest problem is really just shelving right now. Like it's not that I don't have space per se. Like I have areas in my home where I could add a shelf, put something up. It's just that a lot of default shelves, like cheaper shelving options, don't work well for small toys. And so I don't want to just go buy a basic bookshelf because you can't adjust the shelves very well because there's huge gaps. And I feel like you see this teeny tiny toy on this really large shelf. So it's more, that's my issue now. It's like trying to find shelving that works to what I want and what I envision in my head without having to like spend, a bunch of money to customize something.
Well, here's what you need to do. You need to work on height variation in your collection. So if you do find like a really cool shelf where there's maybe a 10-inch gap between each shelf, like a lot of the bookshelves that you're talking about, to where the tall toys can go in the back and the front ones can kind of decorate the front of the shelves. But also like I think you're also saying that you don't like shelving that's deep as well because you don't like a whole army 3 rows deep of tiny toys either. So.
Right. And I'm not a huge fan of risers. Like I have them here and there, but I don't. Some displays I see, like in the those IKEA shelves. What are the glass ones called?
Those Dieckhoffs that a lot of people have. Yeah.
So they'll get like a 3-step riser and kind of display them on that, and more than fine, looks great. Just for my personal preferences, it's just not my favorite way to potentially display stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like always like a battle in my mind trying to think through like how to put stuff up and display stuff. Do you have any trouble with that, Dawn? Do you feel like you don't know how to display your stuff, or that's all kind of like in a pile? And
I just have a room that's full of boxes in a pile. And
he collects boxes. He's a box collector.
Basically, my main collection, I have one wall that's my like vintage superhero things, and that actually looks really good. But then I don't show any pictures of the rest of that room because the rest of the room is just piled high with boxes and stuff. Yeah, I mean it's the space is quite a premium here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like rotate through to like keep stuff fresh and like look at toys you haven't seen in a while, or do you just tend to kind of keep one thing up and not really mess with it?
Yeah, I kind of keep everything needs a good dusting and a rotating through, but yeah.
Dusting. We're gonna have to do a whole episode on dusting. How to clean your toys episode.
I have some solid recommendations, I'll tell you.
All right, we'll have to talk about how to dust your flocked toys. I know that's been an issue for people.
I actually love to hear. That's actually a really good idea because like there's some toys I've bought secondarily that have like yellowed slightly, like white toys, and I don't know how to fix that. And like flocked, I've tried to take like Scotch tape and like gently like press it, do it. No. I don't really know. It's like I don't know. So actually, I'd be really curious to hear. Like I know how to dust vinyl. Like I use a makeup brush, and I've got tricks that I'll use to kind of get in there. But like when it comes to sort of those yellowing or flocked or kind of unique ways to maintain, I'd actually probably could use some tips and tricks.
Well, I don't think there's much you can do about the yellowing. I think that's just the chemical nature of vinyl. It's going to happen over time. If maybe you bought it from someone who just put their collection and kept it in the sun or something like that. You might have to send those off for customization. But I would say that maybe flocking. I've heard that compressed air cans is really good for it. Hair dryers. I'll do some research to find out what the best way to clean your flock toys are.
Keep me posted. I
will.
And I don't know what to do because I have open shelving. So they sit in Ziploc bags, which is super sad.
Oh, man. No, we can't have that. Gotta get them out of the bags. Let me do some research. Well, Dawn, I feel like Teresa and I are talking a lot.
I know.
I was just trying to think if I had any good cleaning tips. Yeah, all my stuff's almost all vinyl, which is good for Japan because it doesn't break when it falls off the shelf.
Yeah.
Which things can do sometimes here in Japan.
Well, what's next for you, Dawn? What's on the horizon of fun events for you?
Comic-Con.
San Diego Comic-Con?
San Diego.
Nice.
Back into the belly of the beast.
Okay. 1,000 Toys gonna have a booth?
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna be sharing a booth with someone.
Does this
Final.
someone know that you're sharing with them yet?
No. I'm kind of finalizing the detail. So I can announce that soon.
Man, you could have a crazy scavenger hunt there.
Yeah. We're trying to put together a scavenger hunt for Powercore.
Okay.
So and then starting to plan for the Asia cons in the fall. Singapore, STGCC, and Taipei Toy Festival are the two big ones. We're planning to take the Mechatro Wego custom show to those. We're adding a whole bunch of new artists for those shows. Sort of rotating out some of the people that have been in it so far and rotating in some new ones. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
Just keep
cool.
seeing.
Well, Don, it sounds like you have a lot of frequent flyer miles, and if you ever want to help sponsor the Marsham Toy Hour to get to some of these over-the-pond conventions, you can share those miles with us.
Well, I think technically because I'm a frequent guest, it's kind of like me being there is kind of like you guys are there already.
It's very cool, but it's not quite the same. But I still love you just as much, or
That's nice.
no less. So.
Nice. I'm very excited for when Gary comes to Japan. I'm very excited.
Oh man, I'm nervous.
Nervous?
Well, we kind of already discussed my eating habits aren't extremely exploratory, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting because I don't want to offend anyone. Say, Don, we go out to dinner with a group of friends, and I don't want to offend anyone by not eating what everyone else is eating. But in the back of my mind, I'm going to be like trying to pump myself up. Eat it. Don't show it in your face that you're kind of afraid to eat it and that sort of stuff. So I'll have to brush up on my adventurous eating, I think, if I ever go out there.
The McDonald's here are really good as well.
Japan McDonald's would be like that to me. It would be an experience, just seeing like what the McDonald's are like over there.
Yeah.
You just shouldn't eat that every day.
True.
But you should totally try it at least once. I'm with, we talked about the experience of like New York and food trucks. You could do it. Just make yourself try different things.
Like I said, yeah, I'll do it.
I'll be gentle.
Be gentle, Don. Be gentle, please. All right, Don. Well, I think we've talked enough. It was great talking to you, buddy. It was great meeting you at DesignerCon finally.
Yeah. I had fun giving you an award.
DesignerCon, 5 points.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was great seeing you again, Don, at 5 points and everything. You got to hand me the award for Custom of the Year and everything, so that was awesome that you were the guy who got to hand that to me, and I look forward to seeing you again. I think it's going to be probably DesignerCon. I still might be going out to San Diego. I'm not sure, though. So it might be there, too. We'll see.
It's quite a commitment to go to Comic-Con.
It is. But, I know plenty of people out there, and I have, a friend who's offered for me to share his hotel room if I do decide to go out there. So it's definitely possible. So you never know. Maybe we'll see each other in a couple months. Wow.
You'll be another one of those guys that I see 3-4 times a year, no matter where I go.
I know. Let's make that happen. All right. So, Don, why don't you take a brief moment and let everyone know where they can find you and all your projects going on.
Okay. Work-wise, you can check out Powercore at powercore.io, and you can check out 1000 Toys at 1000toys.jp. We're all on Instagram, as well as my personal Instagram, which is at DATADUB.
All right. What about you, Teresa?
I'm easy. If you want to find me, just check me out on Instagram at tmhawk24.
I noticed you stopped saying cute.
Did I?
Yeah. Was it a conscious maneuver?
I don't know. I think maybe we just stopped talking about really cute stuff.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well,
maybe you scared my brain subconsciously into not saying that word anymore. I wasn't trying not to say it. I wasn't thinking in my head, oh, don't say it.
Well, speaking of cute, I am Gary Ham. You can find me at superham.com or Gary Ham on Instagram. We do this every week, not because we have to, but because we want to. So this has been the Marsham Toy Hour. Until our next transmission, we're signing off. Bye.
Bye.